But to kick off proceedings here on the Best from the West on this Tuesday afternoon, let's catch up with the young gun, Zac Lloyd. Zac, good afternoon to you, mate. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, hey Gareth. No worries. Thanks for having me on.
Are you excited to get to Perth? This will be your first time to Ascot, won't it?
Yes. I can't remember the last time I was actually in Perth, just for a holiday or whatever. But very excited to get over there.
Yeah, and obviously you got the great ride on Headwall, who was exceptional, I thought, in the TJ Smith. He finished third and he was a little unlucky. How good did he go in your eyes?
Yeah, he went fantastic. I was obviously he was an outsider in the race, but the feel he gave me in the trial the week prior, I knew he was going to run a big race. Just ultimately there was no tempo and just got stuck behind a few struggling. So his run was full of merit.
Geez, he's had one hell of a campaign. Like, he was really good in an Oakley Plate behind Jimmy Starr. And then he was unlucky at Flemington as well behind Jolly Star. He had his opportunity. I know Jolly Star won pretty easily, but it was still a good effort by this son of Dream Ahead, and then placed, of course, in a TJ Smith. He goes to Perth full of confidence, Zac.
Yeah, obviously he's doing everything but winning, but
yep.
No, he obviously ran two massive races in handicap conditions, and people doubted how he would go and weight for age, and he's proved he's definitely up to weight for age level now that he's matured. So he goes to Perth with a very big chance. Obviously, versing overpass isn't easy, but I'm very happy with the ride I have.
If you draw a gate, can you set a little closer?
Well, I actually begun quite well on Saturday. I probably begun the exact same as Switzerland. So I wouldn't want to take away my horse's turn of foot, but obviously watching Ascot races, being that far back is quite tricky, and obviously with having overpass, you'd know you'd be in the first two or three. So if we were to draw a gate, I'm sure I'd be a bit closer than probably Headwall's used to.
Are you looking forward to having another crack at overpass?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Bjorn's winning them all at the minute, so we've got to go get one.
Yeah. And obviously, how did you get this ride? You rode him last week. You trialled him as well. How did this ride come about?
Yeah, I've trialled him a couple of times. Obviously, Matt Smith's a good supporter of mine. We work well together, and just didn't have a ride in the TJ, and he asked me if I wanted to ride Headwall, and the way he'd be going, I was more than happy to. So luckily, he wasn't upset with my ride on the weekend, and I kept the ride for the Quokka.
No, I think he was over the moon. Like, he's happy to get you on, Zac, and I think it's great for the Quokka to have a jockey like you head to Perth for the first time. We had a chat to Adam Blenko, who joins me on Tuesday on Giddy Up, and he said you just need to go and watch Willie Pike riding Headwall, what he does in WA, and just cut the corner there at Ascot and burst through the gap, Zac.
Yeah, well, I'll just try copy Pikey or maybe Ollie's last day or something. We'll figure something out.
So when you go to a new track like Ascot before, what kind of homework do you need to do to get prepared to ride? Not only to ride this track for the first time, but it is like a different world over there, because obviously you'll be riding against most of the local jockeys for the first time. Yeah,
exactly. You can't beat experience. So I'm lacking in that regard, but I've watched countless races there. Hopefully I can get a couple earlier rides in the day, no matter if they're fancied or not, and just learn my way around so that when come the Quokka, I've got a bit more familiarity. But hopefully I can get a couple rides. That'll be probably the best thing for me.
Yeah, there's the Karrakatta on the same day, mate, so I'm pretty sure that I can be your manager for the day if you want. You be 5%, Zachy. We'll look after you. But I think Blake Shin went across there and won the Karrakatta. It's on the same day as the Quokka. So there'll be opportunities for you. There's no doubt about that. But you must pinch yourself. Geez, you've come a long way in a short amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. No, riding in these big races is what I want to do. So, very happy with the way it's going. I had a frustrating weekend on Saturday, but always those days are always going to come, so take the good with the bad.
Yeah, and what about this weekend? Who are you looking forward to most to ride? Obviously, day 2 of the championships.
Yeah, honestly, it's a pretty quiet weekend for me. I'm not going to lie. I had a very good book for the first week of the championships, and day 2 looks a bit more quiet, but we'll be doing my best, and I presume I'll have a nice ride in the Sydney Cup for Waller. Not too sure what that'll be, but no, very, very, very happy with the way I'm riding, and I'm sure hopefully we can get a result somewhere.
Does that just get finalised a little later on? So you'll ride for Chris Waller, but he'll just pick the horse that he thinks you'd be suited for the Sydney Cup?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. All right then, mate. Well, it's great to see you riding Headwall and the Quokka. Look out Perth. You're going to take a few mates and have a bit of a holiday after it. You'll run amok, I reckon, in Perth.
No, I better get out of the state before too much goes wrong. I need to get back in Sydney.
Well, good on you, Zac. We wish you the best of luck for the rest of the championships, brother. And, go and get them with Headwall.
Yeah, thanks, Gareth. Cheers.
Great to catch up with Zac Lloyd. Always great to catch up with Zac. He's a young gun. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Wonderful ambassador for the game. And he's the Prince of Sydney racing. J-Mac might be the king, but Zac Lloyd's definitely the prince. Shayne Williams, he's a superstar trainer, but he's also the number one expert when it comes to greyhound racing in the West. Joins us now. G'day, mate. Thanks for your time here on the Best from the West.
Yeah, g'day, G. How are you, mate?
It's. I think they'd be over the moon, rather, with the field that looks set to head to WA or to Cannington on that Thursday night for the Sandgroper.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lineup like this over here in my time. That's been 8 years,
Okay.
Gareth, and I think it's an outstanding field. The five that are confirmed so far are really good dogs, and there's a strong whisper now, Gareth, that the last three will be. Jason Thompson was on radio over here yesterday.
Yep.
And he basically said Explicit just has to has one more trial. And if he comes through that trial good, he'll be announcing that for his slot. So that's almost a lock-in.
We told people 2 weeks ago, but I reckon he's there, Explicit. Ever since we've declared him, he's drifted to 420, however, which is concerning.
Yeah, it is a little bit concerning. Also, Mapunga Tully won't be taking its place as my male, so West on Sydney will fill that void. Now, for anyone that hasn't seen him, he's only a young dog. He would be like a 3-year-old lining up in a Cox plate.
Okay.
He's a young dog, only limited starts. He's a very fast dog. He runs some fast overall times, but his early sections are going to be the problem for him because he's a very slow beginner. And in a field like this, if he doesn't draw near the rail, he could get shuffled right back to last. But there's no doubting his talent. He's a very high-class young dog. And obviously, Chris and Linda wouldn't put him in if they didn't think he's going to be ready for it. And then my male is the Ram boys have gone over to Sydney on the weekend and about to announce Lakeview Emily. So they're the last 3 slots that are remaining. So if they all get there, it's going to be one hell of a final on the 24th.
So where's the speed in this race? Like, I know there's Lakeview Emily's got speed. Kenya All Class has it. Tim Sue has it these days. Deadly Avenger, yes. Good Odds Copper, yes. But and Miss Envy's got speed. But Explicit's is the quickest dog in this race, clearly.
He certainly is. He was here last year. He had the 8. He couldn't get off the 8 last year in that Sandgroper. But you're right with the speed. Lakeview Emily and Deadly Avenger for mine are the 2 speed dogs. Miss Envy's a little bit hit and miss. And Good Odds Copper. Listen, Gareth, this Easter egg final on Saturday night, we know the recency bias. If Lakeview Emily or Good Odds Copper were to win the Easter egg, well, their price are going to get slashed, because we know the recency bias and they're every chance. That box draw hasn't been done yet, so we're still waiting for that as well. But, I don't think dogs like Tim Zoo and, to a lesser degree, Miss Envy are box dependent. They sort of can get the job done from any boxes, but there's a few others in the race, like we said, that are very box draw dependent. So
all right, then explain this to me then, Shoney boy. So we talked to Jason Thompson about Explicit throughout when I was on that racing.com coverage.
Yep.
And I've talked to him a host of times on Giddy Up on SEN Track. And we used to talk about Explicit. He says it's the best dog he's basically trained. He's just got that X factor. He's got that ability. He might be a little slow away sometimes, but after 20 metres he can just explode. And he goes, Gareth, I prefer box 8 than box 1 sometimes with him. But you just explain the difference, say, to box 8 at Cannington compared to the Meadows or Sandown.
Yeah, well, box 8 is hard at Cannington because we have a safe chase lure. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, that's a lure without a cable. It's basically remote control, and it's a lot quieter than the normal cable lure than what these dogs are used to in Melbourne. So Whether or not he couldn't hear it last year, I'm not sure. But with that experience under his belt, no doubt he'd be better this year. And you also got to factor in that this year he's basically mixing business with pleasure. So he's he returned to the winners list at Bendigo in really good fashion. But obviously he's taken a spell from that side of things and concentrating on racing for now. But look, he would probably be the favourite, and he is, as we know, before the box draw. But yeah, I don't know. It's true what you said, Gareth. There's that 20 metres to explode, but then you've got to worry about the dogs that are drawn outside and whether they're going to crash into him, or if he draws inside, are they going to crash out to him? It's just.
I don't think there's too many dogs that would bother him, however, at the start, is there?
Not really. They seem to all go pretty straight, I think. So there's no crashes or anything. Mapunga Tully would have been an issue because she did like to take a step to the right at the start, but she's obviously, by the sounds of it, not lining up. So cracking race. I can't wait for it. It's it's going to be a lot of speed. Yeah, that's for sure.
Just explain this situation with him coming out of retirement away. When I had a chat to Jason Thompson, he said, Gareth, he basically, obviously he lives at the Thompson property, and that's where they were able to, obviously they keep him there for his breeding career. But because he was based at the Thompsons, he was an unhappy dog in a way. He was missing out. He was missing the trading side of it and the racing side of it. And Jason said he could tell he just wasn't happy. And then, so they decided to put him back into work. He said there's nothing wrong with his fertility, I should say. Nothing wrong with his fertility, but he just wanted to race again, which I found really interesting. He retired too early.
Yeah, I think it doesn't work for every dog, Gareth. I've seen it tried before with other dogs that have gone to stud and tried to do both, and sometimes their minds are on other things, as you probably could not blame him for. But obviously Jason knew that it wouldn't affect him. And it was a big risk to take, to be honest, because if he come back to the racetrack and didn't perform, then probably a lot of people would have fallen off the stud side of things. So big risk to take. And I think these races are perfect for a dog like him because there's no heat and final, Gareth. You can just go straight into the final for 300K. I mean, later on in the year, there's $1 million race. He probably won't be around then. He'd be too old. But then you've got races like the Top Gun that are just invitation only, that you can just step up and go in these races and not have to worry about going through heats and semis or finals and getting knocked around. So I don't blame him for bringing him back and having a crack at these sort of races. But like I said, big risk to take, but it looked like he handled it no problem at Bendigo there. His last 50 metres, he just ripped away from him. That was the most impressive part for mine, watching that last 50 metres up the Bendigo straight.
It does make sense in a way because Jason Thompson, I remember when I rang him for the first time about the Phoenix, I said, mate, you need to get aboard. And he wasn't a believer until you had to sit him down for 25 minutes, 30 minutes to say this could change your life in a way, these slot races. And now he can't stop buying these slots in these races like that. So he won a Phoenix, of course, which was one of his biggest ever paychecks. There's no doubt about that, winning a Phoenix. And he'll get the lot if he can win the Sandgroper because it's his slot in a way. And this is why it's the best tip ever with Explicit, because how many dogs would he have at home to make sure, he's not going to give Tim Zoo away to Tab Touch if he doesn't believe that he has got a better chance at home if he's got his own slot, if you know what I mean, Shayne.
Yeah, 100%. He said from day dot, and he's had some good dogs over the years, that he's probably the best he's had there. That's the biggest rap as you can get. So, and like we said, bringing him out of retirement, out of stud career retirement, to risk all this is, you probably answered your own questions, Gareth, and the 420, you just talked me into it now, mate. I'm going to have to go and have a bet.
Well, I can't work out why he's still 420. If he draws 1, 2 or 3, he's $1.50.
I think so, yeah. He's at least odds on. He's at least odds on.
He's Mad Miss Envy destroyed her every time he's competed against her, and she hasn't had much luck, but she's just not in his class. Tim Zoo can't go with him, unfortunately. He's a great dog, Tim Zoo, but at Explicit's best, he's too good for Tim Zoo. And Tim Zoo's a different dog these days. Good odds Cobber, surely he can't beat Explicit, surely.
Well, he's the one that I don't mind because he's trained at Richmond Racetrack, which is in Sydney, which is right next door. Sorry, Frank lives right next door to Richmond Racetrack. Now, Richmond has the safe chase lure, the same as Kennington, so he would have had 100 trials around Richmond. So I think the safe chase lure will be no problem for him. And like we said, if he comes out and wins the Easter egg on Saturday night, well, that 750 is going to look a bit of overs. But
well, that's a moral then if I'm taking him on. And Lakeview Emily can win because she can explode on a night, can't she?
Yeah, well, she's got the early speed, and sometimes, as we've seen in ground races, Gareth, when you're out in front and there's trouble behind, you can skip, you can pinch it. And she was run down on Saturday night in the semi-finals, but that dog is a machine, Power and Glory, so I wouldn't be embarrassed to be run down by that dog. So, yeah, interesting. Box draw, like we said, I don't know when that is. Last year they'd done it on radio. I hope they have a bit of a function this year, so we can get amongst it. But, I'm not sure when that is. But I think by the end of this week, I think all the slots will be announced and we can start picking it apart.
And just on this is the last one, and I'll get you a tip from you for this week, but like when Explicit won a Melbourne Cup and a Phoenix, there was a ton of pace. Like the Melbourne Cup was the greatest ever night, that semi-final night or the heat night, when they were running, they were smashing the clock, and there was so much speed in that race. And then the Phoenix was similar. Like a lot of the slot holders went for speed to try and lead. And so what happened there is that Explicit, he was the strongest dog in the race, but there was so much speed, and he did get away with it in the Melbourne Cup when he jumped over one. But there's always a lot of trouble onto that first bend. Like it didn't suit dogs like Miss Envy and Lakeview Emily, who missed out on getting into the Cup, the Melbourne Cup. Yeah. But she got in trouble in the Phoenix because there was just too much speed. But if there doesn't look too much to like, there's going to be two blistering beginners. Like it could suit a Lakeview Emily or a good odds copper that could get away with it in the early part.
Yeah, you're right. And going back to the Phoenix with Explicit, I took him on. I didn't think he could win from the 8, and I wasn't the only one because he drifted from, I think it was 240 up to 370 that night and was too good. But, he can make many of cases, but I don't think we can really dissect it properly until the box draw comes. But at 420 Explicit, I agree with you. We don't know why it's drifting, but I suppose you've got to wait till it's announced. But I suppose when it is announced, that 420 is not going to be there. So, you'll have to get a leg up from Jason Thompson to. Well,
he's going basically. To put it frank, he's in the race. He's Jason Thompson's dog, but he's a bit like Tim Zoo. Tim Zoo could trial and go bad, and then they don't take him, even though he's been confirmed, if you know what I mean. So it's not really
Tim Zoo can't come from behind Explicit and beat him.
That's why I don't think he can win at Cannington, because Tim Zoo will be in front of him, regardless of the draws in a way. And I reckon he's getting smarter, Explicit. Like he's getting smarter with the way that, like, I know people say it was luck in the Melbourne Cup, but he sort of had to work it out. He got a little bit of luck, but he jumped over a bloody dog.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
so 100%. Bring it on. Who's your tip if I gave you $100?
Oh, you're making me do Explicit now. You're talking into it.
well, it makes every time we've declared one, it just keeps on drifting.
I know. We're bad judges.
Yeah, 100%. What about, you're one of the great judges. Are the locals any chance, or do you think the interstate power will be too much for the local greyhounds?
Oh, look, I think as much as a wrap I've got on this young dog West on Sydney, I think it's too much a big of a ask for him at this stage of his career. He's only young. I think he's only had 5 or 6 starts. So to be racing against quality dogs like this, I really do think he'll struggle. And then our only other one is Miss Envy. So, she's been there and done it before and hasn't had a lot of luck recently, but she seems to, I don't know if she seems to go looking for it, but she seems to always find the trouble. So, I don't know. I don't think so. I said in the Perth Cup and Galaxy that it was going over east, both the finals, and they did. So, I think the Sandgrave will be the same, Gareth.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you've really had you've been punching well above your weight, the weight division there, WA Greyhound Racing, when you see what happened in the Melbourne Cup and the likes. But it's funny how you can't win on your home turf in a way, despite how strong your industry's going.
Yeah, I think this year, the previous years over the Cup Carnival, a lot of dogs have come from Victoria and over east and just turned up expecting to win, and they haven't done the homework, like trialling beforehand. And obviously, as I mentioned, that Safe Chase lure, that's a big thing. If you don't come and have a trial on it, then you're probably not going to go any good in races. And I think this year, a lot of them took it serious. I know the Daily Boys sent their dogs over. and trialled beforehand, and then obviously Deadly Avenger was sent over to Steve Withers and camped here for the time. So I think that's what they've learned over the last couple of years, that you got to get over and give them every chance before you go in them races. And I think this race will be no different. I remember one year, didn't you have a dog with Dave Yu, and he flew it over the day of the race for your Sandgroper slot a couple of years ago?
Yeah. Got beat out of sight. We didn't have any luck, I don't think.
Yeah.
We had a bad time when SEN Track had the trilogy. We had a greyhound. We didn't have a pacer. We had a greyhound, and we had, I think I got Kementari in the end, D. Oliver. Yeah. We got on the inside and didn't have any luck. Yeah. I don't think Godolphin have been back since that, since then. But I was talking to a few people in Sydney. It's going to be interesting. Like these gallop slots, there's a few left to go, and there's not much. Like Headwall was a major get for that slot holder. Who were the Unibet and
do you think that front page, Gareth, would put a bit of pressure on Overpass? He's a bit of a front runner, isn't he?
Yeah, has he been confirmed?
He's confirmed this morning. Yeah, front page has been confirmed for the replacement of I Am Me.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah. So I just heard that this morning when I was out there doing the dogs. So I thought maybe he would put a bit of. I know he likes to roll forward. Maybe he could put a bit of pressure on.
No, there's going to be pressure on. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So that is interesting. So front page to be representing sports, but yeah, I Am Me was just too bad to be true there in the TJ. Yeah. So that makes it interesting. Now, I think Headwall could be. I think at $5 is a good play. Headwall.
He's going great, isn't he? Headwall. He's going really well. He's knocking on the door.
Yeah, we just had Zac Lloyd on, and like if he can draw a barrier and settle just a little bit closer, he won't be far away. I think he's the play. He's got, like, he's second to Jolly Star in a new market. He's placed at weight for age. It was nearly the run of the race there in that race. So off a slowly run race, the TJ Smith. So I'll give him a big chance. But it's going to be intriguing, mate. There's still plenty to unfold with these Western trilogies. These races.
It's a great event. I've had mates come over the last couple of years, and they love it. They put it on the calendar every year now. They make it an annual thing, just 3 codes. It's an outstanding event, and I can't wait for it to come around, Gareth. It's great catching up with a lot of old mates, and it's good fun.
Yeah, Ra would get it, don't they? To have it like I think it works now. The Thursday, the greyhounds, the trots on Friday, which are their traditional nights in a way, and then of course we get set for the gallops on the Saturday afternoon. Bring it on, mate.
Yeah. Can't wait, Gareth. Can't wait.
Good on you, Shane. Thanks for that. We appreciate your time.
All the best, mate. See ya.
Always great to catch up with our next guest, Jason Grimson, and make sure you tune into Racing WA TV on 7plus, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West. I was a little bit busy in Sydney after day one of the championships, Jason. My phone went off, and a few of the local WA participants and racing fans were saying, Gareth, how can Swayze come and win a Nullarbor after Max Delight was too good for him there at Menangle on Saturday night? I said, hang on a sec. It wasn't a grand final or anything like that with my old mate Swayze. How is he? Are you nervous now? Are you concerned?
No, definitely not nervous, mate. Obviously, Max Delight is a quality horse.
Yeah, he's a good horse. He's flying too, Maxie boy.
Yeah, and in all honesty, he just got beat for speed. It was a great drive by Will. He didn't pull him out too early, knowing that Swayze can wait up for him, and he got him right on the post. But I think he'll be ready to roll in Perth when we get there.
Yeah, so he'll go to Perth. I think they fly out Monday week, so he'll have no more runs before the Nullarbor. Is that right?
No, he'll have no more runs. I might take him into Gloucester Park next Friday and give him a look around in between races, and just give him a hit out there. Yeah.
I guess he's equal favourite with Don Hugo now at $2.50. But watching Don Hugo there against Leap to Fame in, of course, that slot race, I guess it probably made him a little bit vulnerable in a way that if you can put pressure on him, that you can get him to crack.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought that's the way Leap to Fame should have been driven in the Miracle Mile, just the type of horse that Don Hugo is. But, yeah, it just shows he can be cracked in front, especially over the longer trip.
It's interesting debate. Do you reckon you can do that in a mile compared to the 2,200 metres? Is there enough time to enable you to put that pressure on over the mile trip?
Yeah, I think so, especially at Menangle, because you can get up there fairly fast. If you're taking your time to get there, the horse in front can keep rolling, and it makes you work even harder. But at Menangle, as long as you're out a bit wider on the gate, you can get there straight away. So you can put that pressure on.
Gary Hill Jr. gave me 1,000 to 1 saying that Swayze can't sit outside a horse like Mr. Smarty. What would your response be to a comment like that?
I'd say he'll be better sitting outside one, and let's hope it is Mr. Smarty in the Nullarbor. So we'll see how good he is. But anyway,
are you scared of the locals? How do you weigh up that form?
Honestly, the only horse I'd be scared of over there is Minstrel, just from his runs in the inners, because he is quite a strong horse. But the other ones, I don't really see any of them able to beat him. That's for sure.
Gloucester Park, like people say, it's difficult to sit outside of the leader and win a big race at Gloucester Park because you become more vulnerable to horses that may be on your back if you have to put the leader away. So how does Cam rate Swayze in a way over like around a track like Gloucester Park to get the best out of him if he does have to breeze?
Well, honestly, I don't think he has to rate him. I think he's probably just got to make them all tired.
Yeah.
Because one thing about Swayze, he doesn't stop running. Even after when that horse run past him the other night, he put 20 metres on him straight away. So I think he's just got to keep running and run them all off their legs, take the speed out of them.
So do you think he just, like what Grant Dixon did to them in the race there in New Zealand, that's the way that he'd be driven in the Nullarbor? Basically, he just goes flat out all of the way?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's good enough. You know, the horses in the previous years in the Nullarbor, they haven't been the same quality. We've taken care of them times. So this horse is probably 70 metres better than them, I think.
Yeah, that is a big call. I'm looking forward to it. Are you only taking him to the races there? Captain Ravishing didn't get a place, did he?
No, I know there is a few slots left, and he is available if anyone wants to take him. So let's hope someone gives me a call and asks for him.
So that's just like he'd be competitive in a race like that, I reckon. The way he went there the other day, and you've had a little bit more time with him.
Yeah, definitely, and you could keep him fresh for it, which is how he goes best. So he's going to go to Goulburn this Sunday for the Cup, and then hopefully we do get a call. Yeah,
all right then. So we won't rule out Captain Ravishing. Any winners coming up this week, Jace?
I've got the Falcon in on Saturday, and a horse called No Heart Prod. They both should win.
All right then, so a double there. So we wish you the best luck with Swayze, the boxing gloves. It'll be good fun, this build-up. Jay Grimson taking on the locals. Obviously, I haven't heard much about Don Hugo, but I think they all got home Sunday morning, so I think he's right to go and ready to rumble. But we just saw in the gallops that IME, who failed in the TJ Smith, like she's out of the Quokka now. I mean, the Quokka. So there's still a lot to, like they can, obviously, I think Don Hugo's pulled up okay, but he'll have to regroup and then get on a plane on Monday and go to Perth.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I'm not sure that he will go, so it'll be interesting to see.
Oh, there you go. So you think there's still a question mark whether he'll go or not? Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing.
The whispers. All right, then we'll chase that up. You're breaking a story for us here on the Best from the West, so we'll keep. I'll see if I can confirm that or not. I'll have to ring the owner or Luke McCarthy, but we'll see how we go. Always a pleasure, Jace.
No worries, mate. Thank you.